Hello everybody, welcome back to MTG Arena. Now, today I have a lot to talk about, but before I start rambling, let's get into a game. So, my daily today is play 20 lands for 500 gold. Now that is the biggest gold reward I've seen yet for a fairly easy challenge, and lucky for me, I've actually already built a Bant ramp deck that I've been playing around with, so we're just going to go ahead and take that into a game. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to start with this ranking system. Yeah, sure, I'll keep that. So, when you start the game, you start with a blank rank badge. And every time you win, you acquire some new, like, rank meter. There's a meter and you fill it up every time you win. And when you fill it up, you go up a rank. And so I showed in my last video, I think, maybe the one before that, what happens when it goes all the way up, and I showed you going from the initial blank rank badge to the bronze badge, which is just a bronze circle with a star in it. And I played a lot yesterday and managed to get up to the next bronze rank, which is the same old circle, star in the middle, and a small star under it. And I've also seen some people with 2 small stars under it, and I've seen some silver badges. So it seems like that's the whole rank system they're going with, just a bronze badge and then, you know, kind of adding embellishments to it until eventually it resets at a silver badge, embellishing it up until you get to gold. And I don't know if there's going to be a rank after gold, if they're going to go with platinum or like a diamond or something. But I did notice that once you reach bronze, you can actually lose meter every time you lose a match. Honestly, I think that's why I'm still only at the second bronze rank, is because, well, I'm not a great player, and every time I lose a game, it kind of negates a win. Which is, well, it's going to really push people to do their best, because you really have to go on a hot win streak. You have to win much more than you lose in order to increase in rank. So it's going to be a pretty difficult rank system overall, I think. But hopefully, as we kind of get used to the game, kind of get some better cards, I think it'll be easier to do better in the long run. Now, I have not seen any gold players yet, and I don't know if that's because of like the pairing system. Maybe they're just keeping me paired with bronze players because I'm bronze. Although I have seen a silver player. I've played against a silver player. I don't know if it's that, or if it's that there just aren't very many gold players yet, you know? Because this game hasn't been out all that long. There have been people streaming it for a while now, but I mean, you gotta play a lot to rank up in this game. I'm trying to win so I can get my daily gold bonus for winning. So I'm trying to pay a little more attention this time than I did in the last game. I'll just let that through. I don't want to lose my... I would like to ramp, but I don't want to lose my guys either, because I'll ramp more in the long run if I can block smaller creatures. Just pass. So, like I mentioned, I played a lot yesterday. I got every weekly bonus. So you get a pack at 5 cards. A pack at 5 wins, another pack at 10 wins, and a third pack at 15 wins. And I did manage to get all 3 of those packs yesterday. my wins were well into the 20s because I did play all day. And I noticed that this game, it rewards you for playing at least a little bit every day, but it really does not reward you for playing a lot in a day. Like, of course the rewards are going to diminish the longer you play, but it got to a point where like you don't get anything for winning other than just your meter. I think you still will get like a card every time you win, but if you watched my last video, you saw when you win your first game every day, you get 200 gold. Right then and there, just for winning one game every day. After that, you get another couple, like you get about 50 gold for every win after that. But that stops at like 5 wins, I think. So if you win in total about 6 games, so each opponent chooses 2. Okay. I feel like he messed up. But so you get about 6 wins in a day, and that's about 450 gold. And then you also have your daily on top of that. But then it stops. Then the income just kind of stops. So you reach a point where you're not getting anything except for a common card every time you win. And now I have actually gotten a few rares from that daily win bonus. Or not even daily win, just a win bonus. I've gotten a few rares, which is awesome. One of them was... Let's see, I'm going to draw some cards. One of them was one of the transform cards. Like, it was the... It was the one that gives you treasures and then lets you sack treasures to draw cards. So not great. But I did also get a second Glacial Fortress, the Blue-White Buddyland, and I got a Scavenger Grounds, which is one of the rare desert cards. So the rares that you can get, they're not even just limited to like, you know, cheap quarter rares, or what would in real life be cheap quarter rares, but you can actually get like real cards, so that's awesome. But you do hit a point where you're just not really getting anything else out of the game unless you want to go ahead and spend real money. Fight me, bro. Let's get my land. Oh, he didn't fight me. But yeah, I just think that's really interesting. Definitely really great for the players that don't have a ton of time to just sit here and play all day. But if you do have a ton of time, then you don't really have a reason to spend it on this game. You know, yesterday I played a ton, just kind of trying to figure things out, test things out. But, you know, if there's another day where I have, you know, all day free, I don't have a reason to spend it here. But we did get the daily reset, or I guess weekly reset today. I actually did get, you know, yesterday I did get all 3 of my weekly packs for winning 15 times. And today, do I want to go ahead and use this? I really don't know. I guess depending on what he does, I could counter it. Or if he doesn't play enough cats, I could baffling end it. I'll just go for it. Yeah, so weekly reset happened. So I'll be getting some more packs with the 500 gold I'll get from playing all these lands. I will definitely have enough to buy a pack. So you'll definitely see at least one pack opening in this video, I think. Yep, you're good. Don't care about you. Alright, you left up 3. You're a smart boy. One for each other. I'm not going to be able to do this if he plays another cat. Oh, I could. Yes, okay. So I let this one happen. No, because he has enough mana to play. That will make that too big. Man, there's not a good way to get around this. Alright, I'll just let his cats resolve and then dig for an answer. Okay, well, we're playing a ramp deck, and guess what? We got some ramp. But we did get a couple game enders. Go with that one. Oh, okay, there's what we needed. I'm going to go ahead and do that now so he doesn't get a chance to exert it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play this guy. I like those animations. I don't understand how they choose which cards to animate, though. I think I've noticed just about every legendary has an animation. All the planeswalkers have an animation. But then, like this guy, this is an uncommon dinosaur. It's 7 mana, so it's pretty big, but like, why this guy? Or, wait, why? Yeah, you don't want to make that fight. That's not worth it for you. I think I'll go ahead. I want to hit lands. You know, normally I probably wouldn't be playing this card right now, but I'm trying to hit as many lands as possible. I think we can just kind of drag it out a little bit longer, get a whole bunch of dinosaur tokens before we start swinging in. We're at a pretty low life total, so we don't want to open ourselves up just yet. Well, that changes things. Nah, that won't be too much of a problem. So, I've come across several more nitpicks, I guess you could call it, about this game that I wanted to bring up. One of them, which I'll actually be able to show you in just a second, has to do with declaring your attackers. So, spacebar initiates kind of the highlighted button. If I press spacebar, it'll be the same as clicking on this combat button. And then go into attacks. Now here's the weird thing. Pressing spacebar here might go to no attackers, or it might go to all attackers. I don't really understand how it picks. So I'm going to press spacebar right now, and it shows no attackers. It chose to pass priority, and now I can end the turn. But sometimes by pressing spacebar during the declare attacker step, it will choose to attack with everything. And I've actually lost games or lost creatures needlessly because, you know, I'm pressing spacebar, which normally passes priority, and instead it will attack with everything. And I don't really understand why that happens. Damage equals power. Okay. You just want to keep me from blocking with it? I don't know what you're doing here. Okay. Well, now that we've got a bunch of tokens, we can start attacking. See, this time I'm not gonna hit spacebar because it's not gonna attack with everything because I want it to attack with everything. Well, not everything, just the tokens. So that's just one of those little inconsistencies. I don't know if that's a bug or if I'm hitting like some kind of threshold and it's changing what my spacebar does. I don't know. And it does not tell me. There's not like an option for that anywhere, which I think is pretty weird. Oh, speaking of like it not telling me options and stuff like this, I think I kind of skipped over it when I was talking about the rank. There's not a name for what rank you have. You know, for example, my picture, it was the bronze circle, bronze star in the middle, tiny star under it. How do I... Done. Spacebar doesn't work for everything. But, so that's what my rank looks like, but it doesn't have a name. And when we were beginning the game, it did say rank :3. But I've never reached a higher rank than I am as far as the picture goes, and yet my rank number has been rank 4. So I don't know what constitutes the number that comes after your rank, because even though my rank icon hasn't changed, my number has changed a few times, which is weird. What you gonna do? Okay, let's cycle this guy. I'll go ahead and get the utility land. Why not? Make some more dinos. Oh, nope. Don't have the mana for that. Alright. Big game finisher, but not necessary in the tokens matchup. So we are going to spring. We have hit the majority of our lands. Baffling End. This thing. Oh, converted mana. Oh, I'm so dumb. I thought it was power 3 or less. Man. And you know what? People have done that to me before. Tried to hit my stuff even though they couldn't. And I thought, you should have read your cards more. Well, I should have read my cards more. Man. So I could have taken out the Pride Sovereign, but I didn't. I was hoping he'd keep going so we could get more lands out of that. 8? What? Well, there's my daily win bonus. My free card. Grilled Death Spitter. Claim that. Yeah, so that right here, it says, well actually right now it says win 50 gold. after you run out of gold, it'll just say win a common card. It could be a rare or an uncommon. I've gotten both of those, not just commons. I still think it's weird that, you know, it said 0 out of 1 and then I won, and now it's 1 out of 2. And when I win again, it'll go up to 2 out of 3. I don't understand why they wouldn't just say like 0 out of 5 for gold, and then maybe, well, I don't know if you can run out of how many cards you can win. So I don't know. It just seems a little weird the way that they chose to number that. But 8 out of 20, I guess it's only counting the ones that I played from my hand, which is really annoying because I played a lot of lands in that game, and the deck is designed to play lands from the deck as much as possible. Oh well, one more win, 50 gold, and I'll get up to enough to buy pack. But let's go into the deck editor. I've got a couple things to talk about there, and I figured I'd show off the deck just a little bit. Now, this is not a great deck by any means. It's very loose, but the great thing about it is most of these cards you start with. I don't think I spent a wild card on anything in this deck. There are cards that, like Regal Caracal, for example, you start the game with 1, and I happen to pull another one in a pack, so of course I've got 2 in this deck. And then cards like Hieroglyphic Illumination, you start with 1. Well, I went ahead and bought an extra 3 to have the full 4, but I didn't buy them for this deck. I bought them for other decks, and they just happen to be really good here. So again, not a great deck, but I was able to put it together without spending anything, without spending any cards or buying extra packs. So I figured I'd show it off to you, because the second that you start Magic Arena, you will be able to build something very, very similar to this deck. So like I had mentioned, the deck likes to just search for lands to put them onto the battlefield. So to do that, we've got Thunderherd Migration, and we have enough dinosaurs to keep this down. Unless you're playing this super late game like I did in that previous game, it's going to cost 2. You've got so many dinosaurs that are going to... Where is it? I can't see with the microphone in the way. They're going to keep it at 2. And you start the game with one of these. I happened to buy another one for a dinosaur deck. I just got an extra one because I thought 2 would be better than 1. And turns out they're really great here. In that same condition, I got a second Ranging Raptors. You start with 1. I bought one for another deck, and they're both good here. Spring to Mind I managed to pull in a pack. Spring to Mind and Chefette Monitor are the weird cases, because these are both really, really good in this deck and not very good in any other deck. So you're kind of hoping to pull these. Now, I would love to have multiple Spring to Minds, but I don't have the wild cards to spend on them because, you know, I use them on other decks. Same with Chefette Monitor. It's great in this deck, but I would never want to make another one when I could make, you know, a better card like an Ixalan's Binding, or, you know, something like that. Maybe even something like Thunderherd Migration, which is useful in multiple decks. And then, let's see, a card like Azor. I happened to pull this in a pack, and it goes really well in here, but you don't have to use Azor. You can use any just big guy. You start the game with Nezahal, so there's no reason not to put him in here. You know, Tendershoot Dryad, our Regal Caracal, Angel of Sanctions. These are fairly good win conditions that have alternate effects that you have when you start the game. So this is a nice deck that you can just put together with what you have. There's nothing that you have to buy for this deck. Like I had 2 rare wild tokens, and I spent those on Drake Havens. You saw me spend them on Drake Havens, because the cycling deck has to have that payoff to work. But then also, Drake Haven really only works in that deck. Whereas here, you'll be able to put this together with just whatever you have lying around, and the cards that you buy for those other decks will be really useful here. So keep that in mind. It's not a great deck by any means, but it's fun. I like playing lands, and I like playing big guys, so it works out for me. Now, I ran into a situation here, just kind of a nitpick thing, although I've been thinking about it, and to me it's a little more than a nitpick. So I had mentioned before that when you pull up the advanced filters, there's no like X button. There's no way to get out of this. You just click outside of it, and that's fine. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you can click outside of it and it just won't go. Of course, it's not doing that for me on camera. But I noticed there's another screen where this happens. And it's when you click on your graph bars to see more details. You open this up and you get to see all these little details. And to close it, again, you click outside of it. I am just non-stop clicking right now. And it did not close. Again, non-stop, and it took so long for it to close. This window in particular just does not like to be closed, which I think would be solved if it had a button. And I'll get to why I think that's important in just a moment. Oh, if I can get out of it. Second, I showed off there are two different kind of editing menus. This one really shows off what you have in your collection, and then has your deck as a list. This next one also shows off what you have in your collection, but to a much smaller extent. This is not about seeing what you have, it's about sorting through it so you can kind of add cards. Your deck down here, though, is displayed kind of more like a traditional deck editor. Something like Magic Online, or even if you were editing a deck in real life, a lot of people sort their cards out like this. So I really like that they did that. But quick question, how many cards are in your deck? If you want to know how many cards are in your deck, you either have to count, like actually add them together and do real math, which no one wants to do, or you have to change screens, because this screen very clearly tells you 60 out of 60 cards. This one doesn't, which I think is really strange, because this is where you actually optimize and edit through your deck. Personally, I think this is going to be the screen where you look through your collection and you have a theme and idea. You have an idea or a theme in mind, which for this would be lands, and you'd go through, you'd look at what cards add lands, and you'd click on something to add it to the deck, and you're going to be doing that for every card that you think might go in your deck. So it doesn't matter how many cards are in this deck, because this is the stage where you're just kind of adding things in, thinking, oh, I think I might be able to use that card. You scroll through and maybe that card, and you do that until you've got a deck of like 60 cards, not including lands, and then you have to go and edit through it and figure out what you actually want. So it's really weird that they don't just tell you up front how many cards in your deck, because this is where you're really narrowing that down. Especially if you have not added your lands yet, then you want a number to shoot for. So I think it's really strange that they did not include that. But also, in this editing screen where you want to decide how many cards are in your deck and how many of each card are in your deck, I had mentioned that there's no sorting through this. Like, there's no putting just your creatures over here and your instants and your sorceries and whatever. It's just by converted mana cost, and that's your only sorting method. Well, there's also no other editing options from this menu other than just taking cards out. If let's say I had 2 copies of this illumination and I wanted 2 more, well, I have to go up and type it in and then add them through here in the deck editing part of the screen. However, when we're back to, oh, I think I'll add this card and I think I'll add that card, where you're not really paying that much attention to this, this is the screen where you can really decide how many copies of a card you want in your deck, just super easily. With, you know, a click of a button, you can take out and add cards without it mattering if they're up here. But if you're going to be, I don't think you're ever going to be editing with this part of the screen. You're either going to be adding cards through this, or you're going to be changing what's in the deck through here. So why is it that this is the screen where they made it really easy to add and subtract cards, where the actual deck editing portion of the screen does not have anything like that? And like I'd said, these are kind of nitpicky things, but think about it like this. There are players out there, like myself, who like to build decks. That's kind of one of the more fun parts. In Magic Online, I think I probably spend more time in my collection, kind of going through cards, making out new decks, than I actually spend playing with those decks, because the game's just a little more fun to me in the aspect that there's all these different pieces you can put together in any combination that you want. I think that's really fun, and there's a lot of other players out there who do that as well. So I'm going to be spending a lot of my time in Magic Arena in this deck editor. And these little nitpicks, like these little things, these are going to add up. So if there's like 2 seconds of inefficiency every now and again, that doesn't really matter. But if I'm going to be in here doing this and having to be inefficient about the way that I do it and you know, maybe that takes up 2 seconds, but it takes up 2 seconds every few minutes for a year or possibly more, that is so much time that I've wasted, not because I like that's not wasted time in the sense that I'm spending all my time in the deck editor. That's wasted time in the sense that it's just inefficient, that I'm wasting time that I shouldn't have to waste to do simple things, you know? And you know, for a lot of people, that's not going to be a big deal, but there are people out there like me where that is going to be kind of a big deal. You know, people get upset about loading times in games because an extra 5 seconds, well, 5 seconds I guess is a long time, an extra second in every loading screen could add up to several minutes, maybe even an hour of your life that you've wasted because the game wasn't efficient enough. And it's kind of that same deal here. Every like few milliseconds that I waste trying to exit that one screen, that adds up. Oh, and it's still here. You know, it's going to add up, and it's going to equal a significant amount of my life just wasted not playing the game, but just navigating the game. So I think that that's really strange. I hope that they end up fixing that. But wait, where'd my daily go? Wait, what? Okay, now it's back. Well, there's a bug. Anyway, I'm gonna quit ranting about that, and I'm gonna play one more game, but I'm gonna try a different deck just to kind of show off. I'm actually going to show off one of the original 10 decks. Now, I have gone through and edited every single deck just a little bit. I tried to keep the theme the same, but I took out some of the, you know, useless intro cards and kind of added in a few cards. You know, I pulled that Azor, so I added him to the blue-white deck. Let's see. Here, I'll try out the vampire deck because I did also pull the legendary vampire from Riles of Ixalan. And I know the last time that I was playing, it was silver player. Oh, but it's silver rank 4. See, that's the part of the ranking system I don't understand. You'd think she'd be higher than me, but also she didn't have any like little like inflections or extra symbols or anything on her rank. So why was she 4? I don't know. It's weird. But the last time I played, I really only showed off the blue-black deck and the green-black deck, and I did a very poor job of it. So let's go with something new, something different, and see what we get. I guess I'll go for the damage or the lifelink. And I might go through this with every deck eventually, just kind of showing off some simple ways to upgrade the decks. Because this deck, I didn't buy anything for this deck. I really only bought for that blue-white cycling deck that I was making. But I was able to upgrade this deck significantly, I think, just with cards that I happened to pull. Well, that's going to block everything we have for a while, especially if I don't draw a land. Man, I think I've got 22 lands in this deck, which I feel like is a significant amount for, or it's at least a sufficient amount for an aggro deck. But man, we really should have drawn a land by now. I was really hoping to get a win here. Of course not. Well, this isn't going very well. And he's playing dinosaurs, so he's just going to end up steamrolling us. This is really the kind of game where we needed to get out fast. Ooh, and he's just... I'm going to go ahead and say good game. He's just going to start machine gunning our stuff dead. Although, honestly, I thought it was the other red-green dinosaur that deals 1 damage to everything. And then we just lose all these guys. But even still, we are not in a great position. Let's see. If we draw a land, we can turn that thing off. Could give our guys +1/+1. Or we could just, you know, play a 1-drop and then pass the turn. Taking my chance with the space bar, hoping I don't just swing out with everything. Man, I was really hoping to win this so I could have another pack opening in this episode. But I'm thinking maybe I'll, because I'm definitely not winning this one, I'll probably keep playing, save that pack that I buy, and save my 3 weekly packs. And then I'll probably just have a video opening those 4, since that'd probably be a little more enjoyable than watching me play until I get one more win, which at this rate could be a while. I mean, is that nothing here keeps me from losing? It's got lifelink. 1 drop. Is that gains me life? You know, sure. Turn you off. Gain a few life. With blocks, I don't think we die. Let's see, block, block, block. Take 3. Yeah, unless he's got... Well, this can give anything haste, so it really depends on what he plays. Oh. Well then. Maybe it's being on camera. You know what? I'm going to blame you guys for me losing. Because I won a very fair amount yesterday when I was not on camera. And of course now, my deck's just not doing anything. I guess I don't have to block. I definitely should though. So he can't just lightning strike me. That's another one of those little, just kind of weird things. Spacebar does practically everything for you, as far as saying, okay, I'm passing priority. But when they reveal a card, you can't press spacebar. You have to hit that done button. Show him what I can't play. Oh. Show him that guy. Hey, look what I had that I can't play. I won't concede. I'll let him beat me to death. Be the nice guy. How do you guys feel about conceding? You know, we're not in a tournament. If this was tournament, I would definitely concede because I don't want to lose time. But this is just, you know, casual. So, would you rather your opponent concede to your win to save you time, or would you rather play it out for the satisfaction of actually winning? Now see, this guy, he's definitely having a lot of fun because he's doing a lot of things that he doesn't need to do. And now my meter goes down. I've not tested if you can actually drop a rank from losing. I really don't want to, so I'm going to keep playing for a while, I guess. Try to get some of these packs for you guys. And hopefully I'll have that pack opening video for you real soon. So stay tuned. Goodbye.